Hey guys, Tim Langdon again, One Man Worship Band. I'm here to kind of give you some overall tricks and stuff about a few things dealing with worship leading, like dynamics, and kind of how to present yourself and how to make the music work. One of the benefits of the season where we aren't allowed to gather in church buildings, a lot of, especially early last year, a lot of churches had to rush, including ours, to get the equipment to live stream their services because, some people were doing it and some people weren't. And now all of a sudden, all the churches had the need to live stream. So the benefit for me is I've got to see a lot of churches and how their worship ministries work. And honestly, some do and some sort of don't. And this is some of the stuff that I'll be kind of talking about in this video. So one of the important things when it comes to music is dynamics. It's the hills and valleys, the open spaces within music. Because the thing about it is, if you've got a song that's in 4/4 timing, you could just play it like this. And technically that is correct. However, boy, that gets annoying to listen to for an entire song. And not only that, the reason we have dynamics is so it becomes what I like to call sonically interesting, where it doesn't become repetitive to the ear. So if I was to do that, so I'm doing a little palm muting and hammering on. And then we get to the chorus, I could go open it up a little bit, still not going crazy, but and why do guitarists shake their guitar when they do this? It's just to make them look cool. I don't know. And we get a little vibrato out of it, but it really doesn't do anything. That's just an obsessive thing guitar players have to do. Because we're cool like that. But what ends up happening, I've seen a lot of churches, they do what I call gas pedaling. And it's just, at the beginning of the song, everybody is singing and playing at full volume. And this is not good. Most worship songs nowadays are designed to be sung, the verses and maybe the pre-choruses, but the verses primarily are meant to be sung by one, at most two people. But there are churches that, and I'm going to kind of project here as their reasoning. There are some churches that have musicians and singers who maybe have ego problems. And I'm not saying they have too much ego. Maybe they have too little ego, or maybe they're just, I don't know what their reasoning is, and frankly, whatever. But what I tell my team at our church is there are no songs that belong to you. There are no songs that belong to me. We play and we serve the song as the best it can be in whatever context. So there isn't a song that, if we sing that song, so-and-so has to sing it. Negative. That's the worst way you can run something, because then that person now owns that song, and if that person just happens to not be there on a particular Sunday, then you can't do that song. And, what if the Lord lays that on your heart to do that song? Well, now it's silly. So you should never do that. And sorry, I'm spreading into a couple of different topics here, but I want to make sure I get them all out. But what you should do is, of course, learn dynamics. Learn to, to let the lead person sing that verse out, so everybody can hear it and everybody can discern the words. And then when you hit that chorus, everybody can kick in big, and it'll sound good, and it'll sound sonically interesting, and people they'll get it, and it won't be distractionary to them because they're just like, man, y'all are just hitting the gas pedal from the word go, and just everybody's singing loud as all get out. And that's just not the way you should do it. You should learn dynamics. Another thing that I see a lot of people doing is please learn a definitive time for introing a song. So if the intro chorus to a song are G, C, D, say we're going to do those 2 times and then we're going to start singing. Because I see churches do this. Anybody going to start anytime soon? And then gas pedal and everybody starts singing. It's madness. Oh, please definitively say we're going to do this intro riff this many times. So you don't just run on and everybody's wondering, why haven't you started singing yet? The other thing is, as worship leaders, this is something that's super important to understand. Give you a good example. Torrin Wells, fantastic singer. He did a song with Elevation called Never Lost. And he does it in the key of B. All right? Key of B's high. Miracles when you move, such an easy thing for you to do. And your hand is holding me out. Now, okay, I can sing it in that key. The only problem is when I go before the congregation and I'm singing it, people in the congregation will be like, you're sacrificing the ability of the entire church body to worship because you think you want to show off your vocal chops. So when we did this song, I moved it back to G. Miracles when you move, such an easy thing for you to do. And your hand is holding me now. So it's, again, I could sing it in B, but it would leave most of the congregation in the dark as their ability to sing along with the song. And that's how we do worship. We're joining in voices together to worship God. And so if you take a song and you put it up in a very high key, you're going to leave most people behind. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be helping people to engage in worship, not locking people out because we just have to show off our vocal skills. Another thing I noticed, and I won't call any particular names, but it's very interesting, is rather large church, and I know that they've got more musicians and there are actually instruments on the stage, but there's only one guy on stage leading worship. It's the worship leader. He's leading it by himself. And knowing absolutely nothing else other than that, it seems weird that you would just have, one guy up there leading worship. And I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, but let me tell you what I've done over the years. When my oldest son was about 12 or 13, something like that, our longtime drummer left the church. His father, the pastor, was moved to another church, so he wasn't there anymore. So I took my son, my oldest one, and he'd been playing the bongos, so he had some rhythm. And I am not a drummer, but I showed him a 3/4 and a 4/4 beat, just how to do them on the drums, because that's the limit of what I know about drums. And put him in the room, and we just worked out a system. When I needed him to speed up, because he was behind me, I would just kind of tilt my guitar neck up, kind of saying, "Speed up a little bit, bro." And then it'd be like, "Yeah, slow down a little bit, bro." And we built in natural stops in the song, so he was able to stop and reset, and all those other kinds of things. So it wasn't that he just jumped out of the gate being a superb drummer, which is what he is now. But we took the time to and I moved my worship song choices around his ability to do things. So it wasn't that I tried to make it so difficult that people can't do what they got to do. You can't do that as a worship leader. You can't do that. You really have to learn, the capabilities of your team, understand what it is they can do and what it is they can't do, and don't try to hand them something that they can't do. Don't be afraid to challenge, the team from time to time, but, don't throw it on them on a Sunday morning. Like, send it to them and say, hey, listen to this and let's look at it and see what we need to do. But those are the things that we should be doing as leaders, especially to take care of our team members, because a good example, if nobody's behind you, then you're just walking by yourself. You're not leading anyone. So the team members that work with you need to have the confidence that you know what you're doing and you have an idea of where you're going, and depending on your skill level, and you can make a good sound. You can be a good worship leader at any skill level, as long as you apply these principles that I'm talking about. So seeing all these, a lot of these other churches, and understanding that there's different levels of skill, and and frankly, I mean, there's some guys out there that lead worship where they really can't sing that well. Man, that's rough. That's rough. I feel for them and the churches. It sounds really they can't sing, and if you can't sing, that's a problem. Now, I don't think that I'm some kind of superlative singer or anything. I've worked with some people who are ridiculously talented vocally. Mine is utilitarian. I lead worship, so I sing well enough to do that. But you have to be able to sing, and having that ability and applying principles to where you care about your congregation, and you want to lead you effectively. You want them to feel like they are a part of the worship set. You want them to feel like they can sing along. You don't want to key things too high. You don't want to make things repetitive or weird or awkward, or just the best thing you can do is to do your job so well that you get out of the way. I once said the greatest compliment I could probably get as a worship leader would be if somebody came up to me and said, I don't even remember what songs we sung. I just was able to worship and just enjoy the presence of God. That's the greatest compliment I could ever receive. Not somebody come up and saying, man, your voice is great, or man, that drummer's awesome. And no, what I want to do is create the atmosphere to where people are like, man, God's amazing. And that's what I want to do. So, sorry if I did a little rambling there. I just had a bunch of things in my brain that I'd seen on these live streams that I wanted to get down. So just remember, dynamics, not gas pedaling. That's everybody playing all at one time at the same speed for every verse, chorus, pre-chorus, bridge. Not singing songs in too high of a key to sacrifice you showing off your American Idol voice for helping people in the congregation to be able to sing the songs with you and feel like they're a part of the worship service. And don't be a one-man worship band if you don't have to be. Use who you have in your church. Find those people who have that talent and learn how to help them develop it. Even if you don't know how to play an instrument. I'm not a drummer. I don't know how to play the drums very well. So, sometimes if my drummer's having a hard time, I don't have a lot of help for them. Piano player, I know how to play piano a little bit, and, I can help. And bass, electric guitar, some of those things I can help with. And I just want people to feel like, that they're a part of the team and that they are participating and that they are enhancing the worship service. And that's what we want to do. So anyway, I appreciate you guys listening to me. This is Tim Langdon, One Man Worship Band, and I hope you have a blessed day.